Hi, my name is Jenn Hand, and today we're going to be talking about freeing yourself from the binge and restrict cycle. And the binging and restricting cycle can also be thought of as the dieting mentality or dieting and overeating. So either binging and restricting or dieting and overeating. And if you view the binge and restrict cycle as a pendulum, it's a little bit easier to understand. So when you are restricting, you're holding the diet pendulum on one side. It's at the extreme, and you're slowly, the pressure is starting to slowly build as you're rigidly and strictly maintaining a food plan. And it's sort of anxiety-ridden, stress-filled, and it's really hard to maintain. And as that pressure slowly builds, it eventually implodes, and that pendulum swings back to the other side, which is the binging end. And the pressure here just can't be sustained, and it eventually swings back over into binging or overeating. So those that struggle with this binge and restrict cycle often have an either-or mentality. So they're either restricting or binging, either dieting or overeating. And if you really think about the dieting mentality and the restriction piece, it's almost impossible to maintain that. It's so stressful, it's so anxiety-ridden, it's so linear. You're forcing yourself to eat a certain way on this one tightrope of a plan, and it's really easy to fall off. You know, think about being on a tightrope. It's stressful, you're concentrating, you're focusing, and it's such a small piece to focus on, and it's so easy to fall off. And that falling off eventually leads to a binge. So having that either-or mentality is a common way of what contributes to this cycle. And oftentimes with the dieting mentality or the restriction mentality, we think that, you know, Monday through Friday we'll adhere to a rigid plan and not eat anything that we deem unhealthy or forbidden or anything that's off our planned schedule for the day. And again, that mentality contributes to that cycle because there's almost no way to maintain that. You know, at some point during the week you'll encounter snacks in the break room or dessert after dinner, or you'll want a piece of chocolate, and having that mindset of making yourself adhere to that plan isn't really feasible, because you know you are so strict and rigid in your mind, and you have that piece of chocolate or that piece of cake after dinner, and then you suddenly jump into, oh, I've blown it. I've blown my diet. I've blown my restrictive way of eating. I've blown my food plan. And then you move right into the overeating. I've blown it. I might as well just eat everything in sight. I might as well have 6 glasses of wine, eat 7 cookies, you know, whatever the case may be. So having that mentality of really strict rigidity really contributes to that cycle, and having that cycle be so hard to break. So how do we break this cycle? So one tip that I found really helpful is to adopt a wider perspective. So if you think about your way of eating as a really wide path, instead of something so linear and focused and narrow, we take a step back and really have a wider perspective. We view eating as a really expansive, loose, flowing path where we can learn, we can grow, and it's more of a gentler approach. We approach it with compassion, and viewing eating this way allows for more freedom. So instead of having 3 pieces of pizza and think that you've blown it, you instead view it on that wider perspective and wider path and say, okay, I've had 3 pieces of pizza for lunch. I'll have a healthier snack and a healthier dinner and get back on track tomorrow. So really using that expansive flowing path, allowing us to kind of meander back and forth, take a few steps forward, a few steps left, a few steps right, and allowing for mistakes and for slip-ups. They're really, really helpful in breaking that cycle. The second tip is asking ourselves what the message is. And especially with binging and overeating, there's often a message hidden in there somewhere. And binging is really a message from ourselves that we're ignoring something, that we don't want to feel something. we want to go unconscious or go numb. It could be a big project at work that you're anxious about, or a family problem, a sick family member, or something in your relationship that you're ignoring. Whatever it is, there's usually something that is really big and overwhelming, and we just don't want to think about it. And it could be something subtle like anxiety or fear or loneliness. And whenever we're overeating or indulging excessively in food, it really is a message from ourselves, and we need to ask, what are we ignoring in our lives, and what's going on that we can help solve instead of eating. As far as the restriction piece and the dieting piece, that's a lot of times issues of control. So asking yourself, what am I trying to control? What do I feel out of control of? And it could be anything. It could be you have a test coming up. It could be you have a presentation to make, or just something in more general that you just moved to a new city and you feel really out of control and uncertain, and you're trying to maintain some sort of control in your life, and you're using your food to have some sense of control. So again, asking yourself, what's the message behind this? What can I look inside and look in my life to see why I'm following this binging, restricting, or dieting, overeating cycle that we really want to break. So adopting a wider perspective and asking yourself what's the message are really useful tools in helping to begin break the cycle and get back in that pendulum on sort of a middle ground, bringing that pendulum not on the extreme of dieting and not on the extreme of excessive overeating, but more towards the middle where we have a more balanced way of eating. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. You can check out my website, jennhand.com, for updates and information. Thanks.